guys, how's it going? It's Danny the Phantom, and today I am back at it again with another makeup tutorial, this time for JoJo's. I'm going to be doing two different videos for JoJo's cell shading, one for masculine and one for feminine. So without further ado, let's get to it! As per the usual, we're going to start with my primer and my foundation. Scary, right? Frightening. Now it's time for our contour. Now today I'm going to be doing some feminine contour simply because I've already done it one masculine tutorial, so I'm going to split it up with a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to be doing some feminine cell shading today. So right now I just have the liquid foundation on. I haven't set anything yet with powder, so I'm going to be going in with a cream contour stick, and I'm going to hit all of my usual contour points. Now, most JoJo's have really strong jawlines. I'm going to soften mine up a little bit though, try to get a little bit more of a feminine appearance by rounding out my jawline. And now we go back in with our foundation and highlight that area, really getting into it with a little bit more cream. And now we go in with our powders. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do something that in the drag community and the makeup community is known as baking. So I'm going to take a loose powder. This one is actually a baking powder, like intended for doing this. And I'm just going to press it into my highlight points. And we're gonna let that set for a second. So now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of eyeshadow while that sets, and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my usual eye makeup for feminine characters.
So for this, I'm basically just doing a smoky eye using neutrals, starting with a taupe mixed with a warm brown. I'm blending that into the crease of my lid before going in with a warmer brown and further blending that in my crease. From there, I take a nice dark orange and I blend that into my outer corner and blend up before really digging deep into my outer corner and blending that with a dark brown and a dark orange. And then I top my lid with a nice neutral cream color.
I'm going to go back in and sweep off that excess. And now we go back in and we go in with our contours. Easy enough. Now let's go in with our eyeliner. Alright, and now we're going to go back in with our contour points by our nose. So right now I'm just going to do a plain brown eyebrow simply because it's a little bit easier and I don't really know what character I'm going for right now. This is generally just simple feminine makeup that I'm going to cell shade like I would as if I were going to do a JoJo's cosplay. So right now, I'm just going to show you guys a basic two-toned lip. I'm not going to do any of the crazy colors like Jolene's lipstick or anything like that, simply because I think it's a bit easier to get an understanding of general cell shading as a whole for a feminine face, and that two-toned lip will really make the cell shading pop. So it's a little bit more obvious on camera, but it is a slight shade darker on the top lip just to provide that extra bit of contrast. So whenever you're cell shading, it provides a shadow for you to work with. So if you saw my last cell shading tutorial, I did use a felt tip liner in order to cell shade just to make it a little bit easier. It gives you a little bit more control and you can have those nice fine points whenever you do your lines. So as per the usual, I'm going to start with my eyes.
I'm just going to cell shade about 1/4 of the way through my eyebrows as opposed to halfway as I do with masculine. I'm still going to draw that one line right where it meets the bridge of my nose just to make it look a little bit cleaner. From there, I'm just going to add small little lashes to my bottom lash line because I think it looks pretty cute. And then I cell shade my upper lids in order to give a whiter, more rounded eye effect. From there, I'm going to add those little triangles to simulate the dark circles that a Rocky usually does, and then I'll add the 3 lines to my nose. I outline the bottom half of my nose, and then start to fill in the underside, as it should be the darkest point on your face. I add those little lines to the side of my nose to show where it ends, and give a little bit of a line going upwards to show a path. From there, I contour my cheeks, give myself cheekbones using a very, very light cell shading effect, just using very short, very thin lines, as opposed to singular, long, thick lines. I cell shade my lips much the same as I do my masculine face. Not much really changes except I use the entirety of my upper lip as opposed to just half of it. And I'm following the anime here by only cell shading half of my lip. From there, I'm outlining my jawline to where I carved it out using my contour, and then cell shading underneath my jaw, including the place that I carved out with my contour. Again, I just use very thin lines to make sure that I give off a very feminine effect as opposed to super thick, aggressively masculine lines. Here I add a few lines here and there, see where I need them, and then I go in and cell shade my eyebrows, again just following the flow of my brows as opposed to filling them in with one giant block.
Alrighty, and that is the finished look. As you can see, I did create very much a false jawline right here using the eyeliner. That honestly helps with leaps and bounds of just making your face shape completely different. That is one thing I absolutely adore about cell shading, is that if you use it to your advantage, you can genuinely get a very good product out of it and look like a totally different person. And it's choice. For this one, I actually looked at a reference of Susie Q mixed with Jolene, so it was kind of a mix of a few things. I also took a few liberties with just adding a few lines in a few places that I felt it needed, and just generally, if you're working on this makeup yourself, do what feels right, look at the reference photo, but trust your gut at least a little bit. I also did a little bit of that underneath. I don't always do that, but sometimes whenever I need to alter my jawline that heavily, because that's where it is now. If I ever need to alter my jawline that heavily, I do kind of cell shade underneath my chin, and that does provide a nice shaded effect and really brings out that nice cartoonish look with it, and it's very, very JoJo's indeed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button. It'd mean the world to me. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to know when I post next. If you want to see more of my cosplay, go check out my Instagram at @thefantomb. And if you want to see a little bit more behind the scenes and what goes on in this weird brain, go check out my Twitter at @thefantombcause. As always, I'll have links in the description as well as all of the products I use for this look. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Once more, I'm Danny the Phantom, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye! Aruba, Jamaica, come on, Penny Mama.